Good morning, everyone. This is Corey from the Knitting All the Blankets podcast. It's a nice sunny day outside, so I'm going to keep an eye on the sun to see how it goes, and if the lighting gets too weird, I'll fix it. Sorry for the bags. I've got stuff to show you down there. So, like I said, my name is Corey, and this is episode 2 of the Knitting All the Blankets podcast. New YouTube channel, still very excited about this. During the week, I was able to create a Ravelry group by the same name. It is the Knitting All the Blankets podcast. You can find it in the YouTube channel description, like the overall description, but I'll also put a link in the description below. So, I mean, it's just a beginner, we're just getting started with it. I've got an introduction thread, I have an Ask Me thread, and that's where I'll be posting show notes and things like that. My Ravelry name is not Knitting All the Blankets, it's craftsbycori. So, but you'll be able to figure that out. Thank you to my returning viewers. I looked this morning and saw that I already had 4 subscribers to this new channel, so I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you for subscribing. If you're new to my channel or have just randomly found me on YouTube, hi, welcome, and I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you about today is I've made quite a bit of progress on the Scrappy wrap. I've been knitting on that monogamously. If you see me reaching over, it's because I like talking with my hands and I'm playing with stuff as I'm telling you about it. So I'm going to show you that and where I am with that. Also, I've spoken in a couple other videos about cotton yarn that I have found on clearance, and over the last couple weeks I have found a lot more on clearance, so I wanted to show it off. I'm also going to show off the Knitting Traveler's Notebook insert that I use to keep track of my yarn inventory and some projects, as well as another knitting notebook. Okay, the light just went weird there, sorry. That I stole this idea from Carrie Harling. She is a well-known person in the planner community, and it's something she does with Traveler's Notebook inserts. But mine will be knitting related, I promise. Last video I talked about how I was hoping to, like, my knitting goal was to knit 100 dishcloths by October. Well, I looked at my stats last week after I sewed in all my strings and did I updated my craft show inventory, and so far this year I have knit 54 dishcloths. I'm over halfway there, so I'm very proud about that. All right, so let me pull up the blanket, or the Scrappy wrap, and show you it has officially gotten too big for the rolling husky tool bag that it's in. So let me just grab this thing right here. Now, last week I was here. I had stopped about here, right about this corner. I had stopped at this corner, so right about here is where I'd stopped. I did that corner, and I did that corner, knitted across the side. This thing's all tangled in my lap. Knitted across like that, and just yesterday I got the second corner done. So what does that mean? That means I am on the final leg and side of this Scrappy wrap. So I'm gonna pull up the ball of yarn. The current color is Burnout Blanket Mallard Wood. I love the blue in this. It's so pretty. It's a nice aqua color. I'm getting tangled up, y'all. So to go from here to here, so from go to here all the way to here, that was 100 and grab my knit picks. That was 140 rows. And the way I'm keeping track of this is I have this is a Knit Picks knit kit. Yeah, it says the knit kit on it. Yeah, it's not showing up well. But this thing is cool. It's got like a little crochet hook. It's got a small end and a big end. I actually lost this for the longest time. It was under my couch. It's got a little measuring tape on the side. And yeah, it's annoyingly loud. It's got inches on one side and centimeters on the other. And then it has a retractable button. It also has a row counter. You'll see that this one says 40. And because when I was doing my stitches, I had gotten up to 100, I just continued on. So I know mentally that I've done 140, not just 40. But I can go ahead and reset that. It has little doohickeys on the side for you to change it. It also has a nice little cutter tool on it. I'm going to try to open it up. I have the hardest time doing it. I keep thinking I'm going to break my nail when I do it. I bought this kit because supposedly you can take it on an airplane. For the most part, I mean, you got to take the scissors that are in the back, and I'm going to show you those in a minute. But it has this little cutter thing right here that you're supposed to be able to pull this out, and that little blade is supposed to be able to cut the yarn. I can never get the thing open far enough to actually use it, so I've never used it. On the back, this is what the back looks like. It has a needle gauge, which is really cool. I always think I don't have one of these, and then I pick this up and remember that I do. And in the back, I'm going to try to tilt this up without dumping everything out. It has a pair of scissors, a darning needle, some plastic stitch markers, and some point covers. These scissors are so cool. They're foldable. So I love them. You can't take these on a plane, obviously, but that's okay. And then little point covers. There were actually 4 of them in this kit. My other, usually the Doctor Who project bag that sits here where my purse is, has size 7 double points in it, and I'm using double points to make more pieces squares, and it's just easier. It's like DIY, like make your own smaller knitting needle with those. And then it's got stitch markers of various sizes, and they're little rubber rings. I'll put it over my forehead so you can see. And like I said, they vary in size. Here's a smaller one. And it also has a little darning needle. I don't typically use the darning needles that much anymore ever since I found finishing needles. I love them. I love finishing needles. Okay, so that was kind of a tangent, but if you have never seen the Knit Picks knit kit, I encourage you to get one. I bought mine on Amazon. And if I can find a link to it, I will put it in the show notes, because I think this is just a great thing to have. Okay, so back on topic. 140 rows to go from here to here. I'm almost done with it. This is how much of the mallard wood I have left. There was the comment from my husband of, are you sure it's going to be enough to get down this whole side? So I have a contingency plan. I went stash diving and found, I bought this little thing of burnout baby blanket yarn on clearance at Walmart. It's the same weight. So if I get down the side and I don't have enough to finish, I will finish it with this. What can you do, right? How long have I had this? I like writing the dates of when I buy yarn on their label. I started doing that with my cotton to try to make sure I was getting my inventory in and out fast enough. And I've had this since June 6, 2015, and yes, I did pay $1.50 for it. It's a habit I have with all my yarn. So, this monster, it is huge, people. I need to update the picture on my Ravelry projects pages. I do have a projects thing started for this thing, for this monstrosity. And, sorry. If you want to see in progress pics, I encourage you to check out my projects page on Ravelry. I do not have current measurements. Well, I might. Hang on. So getting into the next part, the notebook idea that I stole from Carrie Harling was she talked about wanting to have an insert for everything in her traveler's notebook. If you don't know what a traveler's notebook is, hop over to my other channel, Tales from a Polk County Girl. I have videos about my traveler's notebooks. If you just type in traveler's notebook into YouTube, a plethora of videos will come up. But anyways, she was always concerned with having half-used notebooks and not knowing what to do with the rest of them because the project that took out the first half of the notebook was done. So what she started doing, and it was genius, is she would take a notebook that was easily split in half, meaning it had a natural middle, like that. And the first half of the notebook was one project. The back half of the notebook was another. So I just grabbed a random little notebook in my planner insert stash closet. And I just make notes in here about the blanket. And these aren't, it's not formal, it's not written up properly or anything. Because when I get to the end of the scrap wrap and I am done with, I'm just making a note real quick, when I'm done with this project, I will be printing off all the pictures I have taken of it and putting it in my legacy book. Now, in my previous channel, not my previous channel, in a previous video, knitting video on my other channel, I do talk about my legacy book. And my legacy book it's a book where I've put pictures of projects and written up about them, and once I add the scrap wrap to it, I'll bring it back out and show you on a video. But that's what this notebook is, really. And I really shouldn't have written that on here this big because I started making notes like this really late in the game. So now I'm probably only going to have a couple more pages of notes for the scrap wrap. And then I won't be using the front half of the book anymore. However, the back of it is the mini skein 10 stitch. I will not be talking about the mini skein 10 stitch, or at least showing it to you this week, because I haven't worked on it. I thought maybe last week I would get through the corners. No, I'm very much a flip-flopper when it comes to saying, oh, I'm going to put a project aside and work on another one. I kept saying that I was going to put the scrap wrap aside and work on the mini skein 10 stitch blanket. No, I've put the mini skein aside to try to finish the 10 stitch. I'm so close. I'm almost done with it. I want to be done with it. But anyways, the mini skein 10 stitch, what this one looks like in the back, and the pen I'm using is just, I bought a set of Tinkerbell ballpoint pens at Publix, and yeah, light went funny. And who doesn't have a million pens lying around? So I just stuck that pen in here. So what it is it's just notes, and like right now, right down here at the bottom, because I'm still on the Lion Brand Bonbons, the beach package. And I'm just writing down, you know, what order I'm knitting them in, because, and this is another thing, not only for the legacy book, but this goes back to another blanket I'm making, Knitting All the Blankets, hello. I've kept, like a maniac, crazy person, insert appropriate term, if you will. I love knitting cotton, right? I knit cotton dishcloths. I have kept all the scrap, all the little balls that are left over that I cannot make a dishcloth or a scrubby from. It's usually like 0.3 ounces of yarn or less. I'm that nutty, I know the weight. And I've tied them all together in the order in which I knit them, for the most part. Now, more often than not, they're tied together in the order that I've knit them, because I keep track of that too, because I'm crazy. But I started knitting this blanket, and I actually showed that on my my official first podcast episode on the other channel. I will get it out again at some point and show it to you again, because I don't think I showed the notebook. I don't remember. I've been jumping around a lot with YouTube. Anyways, I like knowing what color, because sometimes I can't always remember what the colorway was. So I have a bound journal that I started this story in, and I call it the story of the cotton scrap can. And it has notes of, oh, this is peaches and cream shades of green. Eric, my little brother, who I'm making the other blanket for, Eric bought this for me Christmas, whatever Christmas year that was, 2010, 2011. Yeah, I think it was Christmas 2010. He bought me a whole bunch of different cotton yarn for Christmas. I had this huge bag. I just kept pulling out balls of cotton. It was awesome. One of my best gifts ever. And I have that actually noted. Okay, shades of green, gift from Eric, Christmas 2010. And it's stuff like that. I have, when I made my friend Anne of Twin Mommy Creations, when I made her a kitchen, she custom ordered a kitchen set from me to go in her beautiful studio. And I made it out of Bernat key lime green, very bright green, very Anne, and put a hot pink button on it. I had a little bit of that left over, and it's going into my scrap can eventually, and its notation will be Bernat key lime and kitchen set for the studio. So to me, that's how I'm doing the memory. And yeah, I don't know, that cotton blanket is just, I cast on like 200 stitches and just did back and forth garter stitch, and it's a mess. I actually don't like it anymore. I've probably got to knit about 18 inches, so it's a lot of knitting, and I've got a ton of other scrap waiting to be knit up, but I'm gonna frog it eventually. And I think I'm gonna do a 10 stitch, like center 10 stitch. I like the 10 stitch, if you can't tell. I love it. I've looked at some of Frankie Brown's other 10 stitch patterns, and as much as I'd like to do them, I have a lot of trouble with some of with the directions. It's just me, apparently, because I've had friends do it and they're like, oh, it's easy. I'm like, okay, I'm done. So maybe I'll have somebody sit down with me and actually teach me how to do it or something. Who knows? Because I was thinking about her corner one, where you start in the corner and then it goes like back and forth. I don't remember what it's called. But if nothing else, it'll be torn out and done as an original, as the 10 stitch blanket original format. So it'll start in the center and just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, which I think would be pretty cool too, because this is all the cotton scrap for my business. So it's from when I started with 4 colors, and just how I've expanded just the colors that I've used. Because when I started out, I was knitting with Peaches and Cream Ecru, Denim Ombre, Daisy Ombre, and I had a cone of white. And those were the 4 colors I started with, and now I've expanded to probably 100 colorways that I've knit with cotton-wise. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, well, that was a nice trip down memory lane. Let me show you cotton yarn that I have gotten, that I found at Walmart. They're still in their Walmart bags. I found, stuff was trying to fall. I found another ball of Peaches and Cream Fruit Explosion. And it is the same colorway that I was working on last month. I've also found, I found these at the Auburndale Walmart. They were hidden, so I think I ruined somebody's day. Because I like dug back and found them. I think they were hiding them for themselves, so oh well. Then I found 2, what's this one? This is Fruit Punch. This one's like all kind of like messed up. Oh well, I can fix it. I'll just roll it off the couch onto the floor. Then I have 5 of the bright chartreuse. This is not really the same color as the key lime, Bernat key lime that I was telling you about. I wish it was, because that just would have been cool. I've got 2 more I'm trying to grab. There you go. There are 5 of those. And then I was there last weekend. These I all found like 2 weeks ago. And then last week I found 4 Ahoy Ombre, which is awesome because I do have a cone of the Sugar and Cream Ahoy Ombre. And they are similar. So I plan on trying to pick them up. There you go. That's what they look like. So when I cone up, or when I pull the cone of Ahoy Ombre, I can cone up the balls of this stuff that I have, because I actually do have more than just what I've shown you. And consulting my knitting insert of inventory, I have, nope, wrong page. Okay, when it comes to all the stuff I've shown you, grand total, this color, I have 3 of them. So I've got 1 more in the drawer in my craft room. My inventory spans multiple pages. The Ahoy Ombre that I was just showing you, in addition to having a cone of it, I have 8 balls of it. The Fruit Explosion, that is similar to the Bernat Fruit Explosion by the same name that I just finished last month. I have 11 balls of this. So yeah. Candy Sprinkles, which I do not have out here because it is in the craft room. I have 2 balls of that, and it's nice multicolored pink. The Bright Chartreuse, I have 10 balls of this, so this is going to be fun. I like knitting from the balls as they are, but it will all depend for me on whether or not I actually do cone them up. I mean, sometimes it's easier to cone up the big Bernat skeins because when they flop around on the floor, it's a mess. But these little balls will just, they'll tuck in beside me on the couch and it'll be fine. And my mother-in-law also bought me a very beautiful rosewood yarn bowl that it can sit in and just spin around and be crazy. So, all right, I think that's it. Inserted a couple random tangenty stories for you. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, I hope you will. And if you subscribe, that means you won't miss any future knitting episodes. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. Hit me up on Ravelry, come join the Ravelry group and introduce yourself, and I'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye.